Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It's Thursday. It's July the 11th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And really, we started out in this trading range. It was really tight to begin with, and then we broke down and made a second level that's equal to that first one. And we found a low right here, and we rallied from there up the rest of the day. The real movement didn't come until just after lunchtime today, and it was really during the lunch hour. And people always ask me, the rumor is you don't trade during the lunch hour, but if there's movement, you trade anytime. You just follow the price action. So don't believe that. As you can see, the best move of the day was during the lunch hour today, and I see that often. It is true that a lot of times lunch is slow, but and you do need to get up and get away. So I'm not saying always stick to trading to lunchtime. But what I'm saying is don't believe all the rumors you hear that, you don't trade during the lunchtime. So if you want to trade during the lunch, if the price action gives you a setup, then trade because a setup's a setup. It doesn't matter when it happens. If it's during the regular trading hours, even if it's during lunchtime, you're going to have some moves. And every now and then there's some really good moves during the lunch hour. So try not to get this too busy, but for the most part, we spent till just after noon in a trading range, and then we finally broke higher. And but let's talk about the trades. There was a little bit of a down channel working here. We broke out. We came back and tested it. We tried 3 times to come back and test this lower half, and we couldn't do it. The market was too strong, and then it took off, and we pretty much rallied the rest of the day. It got choppy again, but it was still, you can see how the EMA turned up. It got flat again, and then it was pretty much up from there on, and we're still above it. So always a good clue. But there are some smaller channels in here too that you could pay attention to. And notice we had this channel, the break, and then the retest, and then we had this little channel, the break, the retest, this channel, the break, and retest, and we're still really going, we're actually working down from there. It's been enough now that we're in the next trading day, really, because it's after, the market's reopened again, but it's after the afternoon break, the 15-minute break or whatever. So, but anyway, let's talk about the trades. We really were using trading range rules and using traps early on. Let me break. Go out a little bit so you can see this a little better. But when I came in, this was the first real setup that there was. I mean, there wasn't much at all happening right in here when I got here. Nothing that I saw I wanted to take until here. And I really didn't like this until we had this kind of a bullish bar and then moved back. Okay, I had a slight interruption there, but we were talking about this trade. But notice the strong support across here. And, so we're looking for a possible bounce. It was kind of choppy coming down. This was a second entry right here, but I didn't really like it, and it closed back down here low. But when this one closed higher, I was looking for a break above it. We got it right here. I dropped a limit order in right there. It did get filled, and it jumped pretty quickly. And, I'm just scalping out here because this is a for sure trading range, and you can see that was the high. And then we went into another little tighter range, and I like this setup here. It's not a great signal bar, but notice there's a failed second entry long, and those traps work so well. So that was my clue that, hey, we're probably going to break through and make another leg down similar to this one. So when it broke lower here, I used another limit order to try to get a little better, because at this point this line was down here, and so I wanted to make sure I had enough room to scalp out. So I used a limit order here. You could have used a stop. It wouldn't have mattered, but, I'm a little bit conservative sometimes. And I did use a limit order, and it took it a minute, but it dropped on down there. And again, I was actually looking for prices to go here, so I did hold a runner on this one. And it came right back and took it out, of course. Then we tested that again. It held, but we couldn't go higher. So look, notice this is a double top in a downtrend, and we're looking for prices to make a measured move. So I think I had this, where was this originally? Right in here somewhere. I had it across the majority of the closes and touches. Yeah, so you got to include this over here. So I had it right there. And so I was looking for a measured move that was similar to something like that right there. So I was looking for prices to come down into right in here. So when we made this double top, you got to figure, okay, now we're probably going to try to make another move back down. And there's the first entry right there. I liked it. It's a nice bearish bar. Again, this is one, it's fairly big, so you might have thought about a limit order. If you did, it was filled. Could have got filled all the way back up to here, really. But if you didn't take that trade, or even if you did, now you got a failed second entry long here, and look at that bearish bar. So another chance to go short right here. There is a little bit of overlap, so again, you might have considered a limit order, and you see it would have gotten filled. But even if you didn't, a stop, it got filled on a stop. And then it trapped people again in another turn down. And notice how each one of those highs is lower than the next. That's a good sign that it's going to break on through the support it's finding. And then it finally just, and then you actually had a failed second entry long off of this high. Notice that first entry, pull back, second entry. So you got them trapped both ways. And that's what it took. And then notice, now you know you had them trapped, because look at it, boom, how it runs on down real quick. Again, I was looking for a measured move down around these previous lows to exit. And when we made this little bar here, I exited any runners right there. And notice this, you got a double top. This is really a double bottom. You got a little trap there, and then you come back and you make a higher low, and look at that reversal bar. Great place to think about going long. If you use a limit order, you notice it didn't come back and fill it here. So if you didn't use a stop or drop a limit order in there where the stop was, you probably didn't get filled. I didn't get filled on this trade. I missed it, but it was a good setup, and it runs back up here. I didn't like going long up here because you had this possible channel working down too, and this was the first break. So I was looking for the retest, and then we had a trap right here, so a good place to go short. It's a second entry, and it did come back. But notice how it only touched the trend line. You'll see that a lot of times on choppy range days. It won't make a new low. It'll just come back. And even this one, it only came back and tested the trend line. It's testing the previous. This was resistance, and then it comes down and acts as support. This was support, and it comes back. Or where was it? Or this was resistance, and it comes back and acts as support here. And if you look at those lines, you'll see a lot of that. So somebody asked me about that the other day as well. And so just remember that, yes, on choppy short-term trend lines, a lot of times you won't get a new low or a new high. You'll get a double bottom or a triple bottom like that, or you may just test the upper side of the previous trend line or the lower side if it was going up or whatever. So chance to get short. This is really almost the exact pattern as this, except reversed. Notice that one tick trap. Notice that one tick trap, and then the second entry short. One tick trap, and then the second entry long. You didn't get quite as not good a signal bar, but still a pretty good bar there. And easy scalp. You could have used a limit order a tick or so back into that one and got filled. There really was another second entry short there. But now you got this trend line, and we bounced off of it. This set it up, and you bounced off of it really twice. So, and not much room there. It would have worked, but I didn't like it. I was thinking long at this point. We got triple botching bottoms. Now we got triple bottom again, and a nice reversal bar. You go long right above it, one tick. And I didn't know, you don't know that it's going to do this, but you figure, hey, we're probably coming back up to here, but it went right on through. And this was the trade of the day, really. And guess where it finds resistance? Right up here at this high side. And all that is a clone or copy of the other lines. And just keep moving it up until one of the highs holds, and it finally held right there. and then you get this big reversal. But really what you're doing is you probably want to wait for a break of this trend line and this little channel here, and you got it here, and when it turns back down you got to exit. And unless you want to ride, unless you're swing trading, and of course you could have ridden it all the way to the double top up here. And you really got one here that could have reversed it, but it didn't. It went higher, and you got another double top. And but this is so close to closing time, one of these double tops you probably want to exit out and be done with it. You don't want to give back a nice move like that. Don't be greedy, because I can't tell you how many times I've had in the old days I'd have a move like this and I'd be trying to get more. Next thing you know, I'd taken it all back, or I was even down a little bit. And that's what led me to the scalp and run technique that we use now. I don't give it back anymore. I hate giving it back. I take what it gives me and exit, and then look for a new entry. And but that was the last trade that I marked. There was a two-legged pullback to the EMA here, so you could have entered here. Second entry off the low, you could have entered along there. Another long right here off, this is kind of what I call a median line. It was acting as resistance, now it's acting as support. This would probably have been the last trade. This was right before the 2:30. 2:30 Central Standard Time is my drop dead cutoff time. You don't want to be trading after that, because there's not much time left in the day. So, I mean, if you're still managing a trade, that's one thing, but you don't want to be adding on a trade then. Okay, I'm sorry, I got interrupted again. We were pretty much done with this, but I think I talked about that last trade and not trading after 2:30. But that's what I saw today, and it's pretty obvious. I always tell you on these choppy days, short-term trend, range kind of days, try to draw your short-term trend channels and trend lines and follow the rules, and it'll help keep you on the right-hand side, or on the right side of the market. But if you don't understand what's going on in this kind of stuff, your best bet is to stay out. And really, the only thing you can do in a range like that is sell the highs and buy the lows. And pretty much every time it came down there, you could have bought the lows, or every time it came up here, sold the highs. And then when it got into this one, kind of the same thing. It got a little bit higher here. It got back in the upper side. It was trying to come back for a retest, I believe, on this bigger possible channel. Enough people saw this that it was trying to come back, but it just couldn't do it. Too much buying. And I believe we made a new high today in the Dow. We didn't quite get one. I think it's around 1680 something, or 1680 or so on the ES is the all-time high. So we didn't quite get a new high in the ES, but I believe we did in the Dow, if I'm not mistaken. So what in the world is going on with I don't know what the deal is with this thing. It's crazy. Ever since we did that last upgrade, I've had nothing but problems with the mouse on this chart trader. Luckily, it doesn't give you a problem when you're trying to enter and exit trades, or it would be crazy. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. That's about it for today. Looks like we're trying to break out of the upper side of this and maybe come back down to the lower side, or maybe this move is over and we'll come back down in the range tomorrow. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. But it's been an interesting week, and I did talk about yesterday. Let me just go back and show you that. We were somewhere in here yesterday waiting on the news, and I told you about how it can be volatile. Well, look what happened. And if you'd have been short right here when that news came out, I mean, you're guaranteed to almost lose some money. But remember what I also always talk about is that it's not long. It almost always, within a short period of time, a news move will take it back. And next thing you know, we're right back where we started, and it kind of resets, and it came back down and tested these lows again, and then we rallied higher during the overnight for the most part. It seems like all the best move is happening early during the overnight lately, and they keep taking it up. And but anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. Hope you had a good trading day, and we'll see you tomorrow.